Hi, today I'm going to show you how to make delicious quick gumbo from the Tayo Great Gumbo base. I've already done some preparation just for the sake of time, and I think when we don't have to focus on the busy work, you'll get a much better sense of how easily this meal comes together. So I'll first introduce you to the components of the dish. So right now I've got my water heating up. The recipe calls for 14 cups of water. You don't even need to buy chicken broth because what's in the mix mimics a chicken broth. But if you want to use chicken broth, of course you can. So I've got 14 cups of water boiling. I already cooked a pound of chicken, and they're not necessarily bite-size. They're just pieced. And honestly, as this dish cooks and over the next couple of days when it's sitting in the fridge, the chicken tends to kind of shred a little bit anyway. So don't worry about cutting it up too finely. So the chicken, today we're going to make chicken sausage gumbo. So I pre-cooked my hot Italian sausage, which is the kind of sausage that I like. Now, if you're going to be a purist, you might want to use andouille sausage, and that's fine. There's also, I know Costco sells these Louisiana hot links that are already cooked. All you need to do is kind of toast them up and warm them up. That's fine as well. But the key is to get, if you're going to make chicken sausage, the key is to get a sausage that's got a lot of flavor to it. Me, I like a little spicy, and that hot Italian sausage is good for me. So we've got the chicken, we've got the sausage, okra, right? This is frozen. So we're going to make sure that we don't add these until the rice in the mix is already cooked, because it's going to lower that temperature greatly once we throw that in there. And again, just for time's sake, canned tomatoes, canned diced tomatoes. And we want to keep the juice from it, so don't drain it. And then of course, I have the mix already dumped into this bowl. I'll show you what to do with that later. And so our water is near a boil here. So when it gets pretty hot, we want to put our mix into a bowl. I'm just going to shift it a little bit to a different bowl so it's easier to cook. And then we want to put some of this hot water in there, mix it up, make it into kind of like a paste, right? So we're going to mix that in there. And the reason we're going to do that is because when we put it in the rest of the pot, then it dissolves quite easily. Otherwise, if you don't do it, if you just throw the mix right in there, it's going to clump up, and then you have to work a little harder to get it separated and integrated with the water. So we're going to mix that. My bowl is a little small, so I have to be careful not to spill any. But I will show you what that's looking like right now. So here, you see that? It's kind of gooey, kind of pasty, right? Mix that a little bit better. And my water is it's simmering. It's not actually boiling, but that's okay. It's ready for me to throw this in. So I'm going to put it in there. Try not to leave any in the bowl as much as is possible. Then we're going to mix it up. Make sure the extra is coming from the spoon is in the bowl. We're going to mix it up and just make sure it's kind of dissolved in that water. And what we're going to do is we're going to let this cook for about, 15-20 minutes. So the way we do that, 15-20 minutes until the rice is cooked. Once the rice is cooked, it's done, basically. And then you're just adding the other ingredients. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this. My heat's on high. but it's vented right here. And I'm gonna watch it. I'm not gonna leave it because it will overflow if you're not babysitting it. So we're gonna just let that simmer a little bit. Once in a while, I'm gonna stir it like this. And then while I'm stirring it, I check the rice. I see if it's cooked. How do you know when that rice is cooked? Well, I go by the wild rice, which is the long black, because this is a wild rice medley. So there's a lot of different rices in there. So there's a long black one. That's a wild rice. Once that's a little puffed up, the rice is done. And then I'm ready to add in the other ingredients. Okay. So this is at a full boil. It's not yet ready, but this is why you need to watch it, because it's going to boil pretty frantically here. Again, I have my heat on high. So at this point, when it's boiling rapidly, I'm going to turn it down. So my gauge is 0 to 10 on my stove. I'm going to put it at a 5. And so it's going to go down to a slow simmer. Already I'm seeing a little bit of activity on that rice. So again, I'm going to cover it, vent it. I'm going to come back once in a while and mix it up.